You able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Doug Ann Sweeney. I am with Lumen CMMS Plus. Just want to briefly mention what we do. So Lumen CMMS Plus is cloud-based and IoT-enabled asset management, maintenance management software. And it helps our customers manage and protect their infrastructure, their critical assets, and their operations. And just a little bit more about us here. So we manage over 1 million assets worldwide. We have over 20,000 users using our system. We have a customer retention rate of 95%. And as I mentioned, we are cloud-based, running on AWS. All right, I think that's enough slides. Let's get into the demo. So I want to show you some of the ways that Lumen CMMS Plus, really helps our customers shift to a more proactive and even predictive maintenance strategy, which really does help them in terms of maintaining and protecting their critical assets and infrastructure, and also assisting them with compliance. I'm going to start out with our machine integration, how we can tie in directly to the machines themselves to enable them to do more proactive and more predictive maintenance. So I'm just going to go ahead over to my facility view where I can see all of the assets in my facility. This is basically just showing me all of my assets, and this is a typical manufacturing plant, and I can see all the machines here where they're physically located. I'm seeing, most importantly, the real-time status of each machine being shown by the color of it. The ones in green are all up and running. Anything in purple is undergoing a planned maintenance. Anything in orange has a repair on it, and anything in red is down. And that really helps our customers, see in real time the overall status of their operations and where their issues are. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up one individual asset to show you how we do tie into the machines to help get us that real-time condition-based information and what Lumen can do with that. So we can tie into the machines themselves. We do this a number of different ways. I'll try to restrain myself from getting too much in the technical aspects of it, but basically through any sort of control system, software, or IoT sensors. And that allows us to manage or monitor, I should say, the real-time attributes of those machines. So for example, on this machine here, we're monitoring in real time the pressure coming off of it, the temperature of that machine. There's a vibration sensor on there that's being monitored. And then finally, the runtime hours. And then once Lumen's monitoring this information in real time, there's a couple things that it's going to do with that in terms of maintenance. So first, that runtime hours is an actual measure of equipment utilization. And then Lumen will automatically trigger any preventative maintenance or inspections that might be due based upon that actual utilization. So if there's, a PM that needs to be done every 500 runtime hours, then each time that runtime hours exceeds a 500-hour threshold, Lumen automatically triggers the PM and creates a work order to do that PM on that machine. So, really helps people stay on a regular maintenance schedule based upon actual equipment utilization. Now, in addition to triggering those routine preventative maintenance activities, our customers can also set up these more proactive and predictive condition-based triggers to monitor for early indications that the machine is starting to operate out of spec, that something is starting to go wrong, and to be notified of those issues, as well as have additional actions be taken automatically. I'll just show you a real quick example of that. So we do know that on this type of equipment, anytime the temperature and vibration levels are starting to rise, especially at the same time, that's an indication that something is starting to go wrong. So they've set up a rule, and when I say they, I mean the customer, the maintenance supervisors, asset managers. They can create these rules on their own right within Lumen. So they set up a rule to monitor for the temperature of that machine going over 150 degrees. And if at that same time that vibration sensor starts reading a level higher than 20, that's an indication that something is starting to go wrong. So of course, we want to deal with this more proactively before it becomes a bigger issue. So we've told the system to go ahead and automatically send out some notifications, let people know that this is happening. And in this case, we've told it to email a group of technicians at that plant. And if none of those technicians respond, in this case, within 2 hours, we've also set up an escalation on this notification. In this case, saying to send an SMS text message to a group of maintenance supervisors because things are starting to get a little more urgent. And then finally, in addition to just letting people know that there's a problem, you can also have the system automatically take additional actions. So in this case, we've told it to go ahead and automatically create a repair work order for that equipment. And if you know the likely remedy based upon the symptoms, you can have that repair work order contain the step-by-step procedures as well as parts needed to make the repair, and even have the system automatically create a requisition for those parts so that you'll have the parts needed to make that repair as quickly as possible. So not only are you letting people know that there's a problem, but you're also having the system automatically create a work order to fix that problem. And in many cases, you're telling them how to fix the problem. So it shortens the repair time cycles as well as increasing overall asset uptime by addressing these issues more proactively before they become a downtime event in the first place. Now, for our fleet customers, we do a similar thing by integrating into telematics systems. These are systems that tie into the vehicles themselves. Systems such as, Geotab, Azuga, OEM type systems as Cat Vision Link, as well as other hardware providers. And we get a number of real-time conditions for vehicles as well. So for example, here, I can see in my map view where all of those vehicles are currently located in real time. And again, this information is coming from an integration to telematics system where hardware on the vehicle is monitoring the vehicle's GPS coordinates, and LLumin is getting that in real time. And again, most importantly, from asset management and maintenance perspective, the real-time condition of all my vehicles is being shown to me by the color of it, with the ones in green currently no issues, and the ones in yellow have a repair due on them, and the ones in red currently down. And in addition to getting real-time location information from the vehicles, we can get those other similar conditions that we were just looking at. For machines, we can get that for vehicles as well, such as current engine hours or mileage from the odometers. And this allows us to track the real-time mileage of the vehicle and automatically trigger mileage-based PMs, such as oil changes, as well as, again, those more proactive and predictive condition-based triggers. So in this case, we have a rule that says if we get any kind of engine fault code from this vehicle, once again, go ahead, send out some notifications, and automatically create a repair work order to, once again, proactively deal with this issue before it becomes a bigger problem or a downtime event. Now, also for our fleet customers, we assist them with their regulatory compliance in terms of the drivers going ahead and completing their DVIRs or their pre-trip and post-trip vehicle inspections. So people can use LLumin on any mobile device, phone or tablet, Apple or Android. And in this case, when a driver logs into LLumin, they see a driver of, a truck or an equipment operator of, construction equipment. When they log into LLumin, they see all the vehicles that they've been assigned to right on their homepage. And that allows them to be able to quickly take actions on that vehicle. So if they do need to do some sort of a pre-trip inspection or fill out a DVIR, they can just go ahead, tap on their vehicle, bring up their checklist, and work their way through it. And if they notice any problems with the vehicle, if there's any damage that they need to report, they can easily create a work request, once again, just by tapping on it right on their home page. They can also scan a QR code right in the cab of the vehicle, and that's going to take them right into a simple, easy to fill out work request entry page where they can, just go ahead and say what the problem is. So we know we need to replace a broken headlight. If they're doing this from their phone or tablet, they can go ahead and take a picture of the problem, which is going to provide some additional information to the maintenance planners, supervisors, dispatchers to see the nature and the degree of the damage. And all of this is going to get sent up to LLumin in real time. So it makes it very easy for the drivers to do what they need to do on the fleet side of things. Okay, just a couple quick final things in terms of also assisting with regulatory compliance for all of the purchasing side of things. You can set up workflow approval rules, any number of rules that you want for routing purchase orders and requisitions for approval. So, for example, any POs being created by the fleet department. Anything over a $500 level would need to get signed off on by a maintenance supervisor. And then anything over $10,000 would need a second additional approval from the site manager. So these approvals are, of course, stored for the life of the system. So it assists with compliance in making sure that all approvals that are needed for procurement of spare parts inventory, those are all receiving the appropriate approvals. And in an audit situation, those approvals can be easily displayed. And then finally, for all of those purchase orders that are created in LLumin and released in LLumin, all of those integrate into Acumatica. So I'm just going to go back to one more slide here and show how we tie into Acumatica. So I know there's a lot going on in this slide. I'll just give you a real quick 30-second overview of it. But Acumatica, it remains the master source, of course, of vendor information. New vendors will still go through the creation and approval process within Acumatica. Any new vendors created in Acumatica are automatically sent over to LLumin. And this is going to allow folks within LLumin to go ahead and create requisitions, create POs to those vendors within LLumin for any spare parts inventory, any maintenance related supplies. POs that are then approved, finalized, and released in LLumin, those all get sent back to Acumatica, and any receipts done on those POs are also sent back over to Acumatica. And really, of course, the main reason for doing this is, once again, for efficiency. In this case, it eliminates the need for duplicate data entry. After you received a PO in LLumin from a vendor, you'll get an invoice from that vendor. If that invoice goes over to someone on the accounting or AP side, when they go into Acumatica with that vendor invoice, they see already in Acumatica the fully received PO from LLumin, and then they can do their three-way invoice matchup right in Acumatica without having to re-enter any of that information. So it makes things more efficient, more accurate. And then in terms of cost of maintenance expenses, that can also be sent over to Acumatica for all the work done maintaining the assets. That can also be sent over as journal entries, basically expensing the costs of those work orders, the labor on them, the parts issued to them, the contractors that have come in. All of that can be integrated as well to Acumatica. Okay, and that is everything that I had wanted to go over today. So thank you for your time.